Now, of course, most of our listeners will already have read the statement that came out from the GAA yesterday. I'm joined by County Board Chairman Enda Stenson, Councillor Enda Stenson, to have a chat with us about what this might mean for, I suppose, our clubs, our members, our teams across the county and further afield. Enda, you're very welcome back to the programme.
Thank you very much, Breifne, and thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Thanks for coming in to clarify this. Before we start, I might just read a little bit of the statement from the GAA yesterday, and it is titled GAA Club Games Suspended with Immediate Effect, and it's a decision of the GAA Management Committee yesterday. They endorsed the decision to suspend all GAA club games at all levels with immediate effect until further notice. The decision has been taken in the interest of public safety following a number of incidents that have been brought to our attention in recent days, in particular post-match celebrations and a lack of social distancing at certain events have proved disappointing and problematic. That's fairly self-explanatory, Enda, but your thoughts on you probably find out the same way as everybody else did with the announcement publicly yesterday morning.
Oh, absolutely, and I knew that the meeting was taking place yesterday morning, and I was pretty sure of what the outcome of the meeting was going to be, because incidents had happened, we see, over the past number of weeks, and that's not Leitrim or whatever, but I think the final straw was what happened with the parade in Cork. You know, and it seems ridiculous in the present climate that we're in and the pandemic and all that was happening, that people would organise a parade through the town. No social distancing, thousands of people there. Look, I know that the club is everything, and there was such excitement, I'd say, in Cork with that victory. It was just, but it's the very same every other county. We saw it in Dungannon, we saw the county final in Cavan, we saw it here in Leitrim, you know, and the sheer volume of excitement that comes over the local person when they see their own people having done good, having won. It happened even at a Division 3 or a C Championship game with Leitrim GAA would say, you know, people converge on the team. It's not the team's fault. It's the natural reaction of how we were brought up, and that's how it always has been. And to get away from that is not a very easy thing.
Yeah, and I know, not to be slagging off my club, but it did happen on Saturday night, as you mentioned, but it has happened in other sports as well, and in other codes and in other grades too. I know there was a game, one springs to mind, I'm not picking on it because it's your club, because you're the go of mine, but Muckle won the intermediate ladies, and Sean O'Sullivan was on the loudspeaker that day, and I heard him at least 3, if not 5 times, ask people
not to go on to the field, and those pleas were ignored.
Yeah, and that was universal. I'm picking that one game as an example, but that was universal across the board.
That is the very same everywhere, right across the board, right across different counties, and I have been at games in different places, and not even county finals, where people have rushed in on the field. That happened that day in Ballinamore. I saw it with my own eyes, that there's no denying that, but that is not an isolated incident.
Yeah, I don't.
And this has been happening right across the counties, right across the country, and the GAA has to take a stand. You know, and I know we were vilified and criticised when we maybe closed doors in the interest of health and safety, and people were not happy with that. But it was with this very issue in mind that we thought that in the interest of health and safety, and everybody has to go back home. Some people could have elderly parents, some people could have a sick child, somebody could have something. In the interest of health and safety, I didn't think it was the right thing that people should be able to rush on the fields and start embracing this, that and the other, but that's what happened, and that's basically why the decision yesterday morning was taken that no longer can we have club games. I think that's a huge pity for a lot of clubs, and in particular I just want to say it's a huge pity for particularly 4 clubs in Leitrim, for Gortletteragh and Annaduff in the intermediate final. They have worked extremely hard since June, you know, to prepare themselves for this. That intermediate final should have been played 2 weeks ago, only for COVID issues. And it's so disappointing for those players. The same with Aughavas and Cloone in the Junior A final. They're two very powerful clubs within the county, and it's so disappointing that they have kind of started to rebuild, they've come to the point of a junior final, and now it's off. I'm just so bitterly disappointed in particular for those 4 clubs. It's just because there's nothing like county final day, being playing for your club in the county final. It's wonderful, but COVID has got the better of a lot of people and a lot of things.
I think we better throw Glencar Manor Ladies into that mix as well, because they're prepared for a Connacht final, and for some of those girls in particular, they had an All-Ireland final at junior schools level cancelled 2 or 3 years ago. They missed the All-Ireland this year, and now they're in a Connacht final, and I know we smirk about it because it's almost laughable. It's so unfortunate for them.
Can you just imagine? Those girls had done the county proud last week. They had done the county proud last week and they got to their Connacht final and was in with a very good time. They're an excellent team. A very talented team is that Manor Hamlin team, with some exceptionally talented lady footballers on it. And there was no doubt that they were looking forward to that. But hopefully, within a month, it's possible that those games could still go ahead mid-November. I just hope.
I suppose most people's attention now turn. We don't know what's going to be in the case in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever.
Well, at least they can still train. Grounds aren't closed. They can train in smaller groups. There can be no games, no challenge matches, but they can train. So at least it'll keep them involved and it'll keep the mind right.
What's happening with the inter-county scene? Do you have anything you can tell us about what we can expect? Because under the regulations, games can go ahead at that level, but realistically, can you see that happen?
As of now, and I know that the views of Leitrim management and all this, but as of now, Leitrim will be travelling to Park Esler in Newry on Saturday week.
Obviously, the north of Ireland has a much more concentrated COVID situation than the Republic does. Is that a worry for you on a personal note?
Personally,
will you be travelling to the game?
Personally, it's a worry, but as chairperson of the county board, I would be expected to travel, and as chairperson of the county board, if the team are travelling, I will travel. And it would be expected that the secretary and chairperson would travel.
Are there
and
worries?
That's a worry. It's a definite worry. Absolutely. I have no qualms about that. But that's the situation that we are in, and they are the jobs we signed up to, and sometimes you have to do things that maybe you don't want to do or you don't like doing, but having to travel to Park Esler on that Saturday evening is not the most inviting thing, but it's something that we have to do, and it's something that if the county team and the young lads are going to play, we will be there.
Obviously, the young lads, as you mentioned, on the team will probably just want to play at this point and get those games done and dusted and finish off the season whatever way it's going to end. In terms of Leitrim's commitment, and I'm going to be a bit kind of playful with it now, but could we have a situation where, as teams fall into these situations with lockdowns and can't play, that teams that maybe, say for example, is not breaking Mayo in the next couple of weeks, could we be looking at a situation where Mayo aren't allowed to play us? We get through, and could Leitrim actually benefit with a good run in the competition this year? Could Leitrim
that is totally hypothetical. It's totally realistic that could happen. But I certainly would not go down that road.
Should we start saying
yeah, I'd love to eliminate Mayo from the championship on any given year, and this year was a pretty strange outfit, but if that happened it would be strange. But if
you wouldn't have any objections?
I have no objection whatsoever. Particularly with Mayo, I'm not, it's not the most enticing thing, but we took them on before, we beat them before. The great day in '94 was Mayo we beat. Who's to say what happens?
In terms of, I suppose, from the club player and the club official and coach point of view, what's the outlook for the next couple of weeks?
Well, the outlook is that clubs can train. We have a lot of our championships and a lot of our games played, thankfully, and we have had great success, and we have had a wonderful senior championship. We've had a wonderful intermediate and junior championships all to date. It has an exceptionally high standard, and that seems to be right across the board, right across the country. But for the next few weeks, the teams that are still involved can train. They can't play, as I said, they can't play challenge matches, they can't play, but they can still train. Like, there's no dressing rooms available to them, but the pitches are not closed. They can get out there and train. It's hugely disappointing. We're coming into the winter. You like to be kind of finishing up now. The second week of October, I think, is the time that you'd like to be finishing up. That can't happen for some clubs now, because undoubtedly we will get a chance, our window unless there's a total lockdown, that's possible as well. But I genuinely hope I genuinely hope there's not. At least, we're at level 3. We can go to level 5, but I think that's good.
It is a huge credit to the work of the CCC and the Leitrim County Board that of all the club championships to be played, you're talking about 2 fixtures within the county.
Absolutely.
That's it, at our level.
No, I can tell you, like, the CCC, like, and I know that they can be vilified at times by a club for making fixtures on Wildwood fixture, but they have stride, might and main to get the fixtures that they could be played and that we could get over the line on a certain date. We had hoped that it would be finished last weekend. It just didn't work that way. That was disappointing. It would have been great to be finished, but I have to pay huge tribute to everybody from the CCC, to the Secretary of the County Board, Declan Bowen, who's a maestro in organisational ability. They can do anything. To our officials, like the referees, they had to go out and do their job. They did it, and we never had an issue probably this year. We were extremely lucky, and so I'm proud of them from that point of view. As I said earlier, just disappointed we're down to 2 games and that there's 4 clubs involved. We didn't get it, but we will get it over the line.
And in terms of underage, that's pretty much, looks like it's gone by the wayside for the foreseeable future.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot imagine, it going forward. But you have a lot of the finals played. I know there was another 13 final. I was hoping they played on Monday night, but everything was called, so there was nothing could have been done. But your heart does go out to, under 13 players. The final is a big thing for them.
It's like an All-Ireland for them at that stage, yeah.
Oh my God, it's everything. But their disappointment only lasts a short while. They will be out kicking the ball and they will be back running and they'll enjoy it, Well, there'll be bigger disappointments in life for those things as life goes on.
And thanks very much for dropping in and having a chat with us and explaining to us what the impact is locally as well. It's an unfortunate situation, but I think probably one that was unavoidable.
Absolutely, and as I said before, what has happened is totally understandable. I just want to say thank you for having me here, and I want to thank you for the amount of work that you have done on the sidelines, that you have done before games, and the promotion that you have given to the GAA, and long may it continue. I think this year has been wonderful from this aspect of the GAA. So I just want to say, Breifne, thanks a million, and very best to you, luck to you going forward.
Thank you very much, Enda.